right at the core of that, it comes down to, are you wanting a life where you're in the pursuit of pleasure and just like momentarily feeling good? Or do you want like a really happy, fulfilling experience of life? Is that ultimately creating a life that you're really loving? Or is it just creating momentary experiences of pleasure? And I think when you begin having those conversations with yourself and observing more closely how you feel, and this is why I really like people to understand the symptoms of whether you're low or high in these chemicals, because then people start thinking like, okay, this is why I'm feeling that way. And then they tie it to the phone and then they're like, okay, I need to start phone fasting, which is what we call it, these prolonged breaks from it. So I think it's that mindset shift around pleasure versus happiness.
What's the longest you've ever done a phone fast?
I did 3 years ago, I did 7 days.
No phone whatsoever?
No phone for 7 days. I actually wouldn't recommend that as a solution. It's really interesting because I've been really niching into this world of the phone connection. I think fundamentally, when you look at mental health, there has been a lot of quick dopaminergic activities for the last 100 years, be that alcohol or cigarettes or sugary food or whatever it may be. But mental health has shifted rapidly since the iPhone became a thing. And then if you look at since COVID, when we started really scrolling the short videos, mental health has declined even further. And I think the big reason that's the case is because we can more frequently engage with dopamine via the phone than the dopamine we used to get from those other sources. So you might eat sugar 3 times a day. You might drink once a day. You might watch pornography once a day. Social media, like with the Dose Lab where we do our research, we see people opening their phone about 140 to 150 times a day. So it's that frequency of increase which is challenging, which brings us to that phone fasting idea. Now, I tried 7 days off. I tried 3 days off. The difficulty is because we're operating in such a rapid society with the amount of information coming at us on our email and WhatsApp and with our jobs, I think big breaks from it can actually be very stressful when you turn the phone back on. And what we've seen in our research is if people commit to short, frequent breaks where they know the morning is a frequent break, they'll always do, they have a 60-minute phone fast in the evening, they have a prolonged one in the middle of the day. If they have these frequent breaks rather than long breaks, it actually seems to be more effective, definitely for me as well.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've done those phone fasts as well for a while. And there are times in my year where I think that can be important. But overall, I fully agree with you that I think if you're oscillating between these extremes, you just keep kind of pinging back and forth. Yeah. And so you go from being really addicted to doing the phone fast and going back to being really addicted. And that can get really exhausting and really, really tiring.